History and adventure go hand in hand, and this week we've discovered one location with an abundance of each. I'm Stephen Human. Join Chad, Ria, and myself as we cover different parts of Panguitch, Utah, and see for ourselves how the pioneer history has set this town up as one incredible destination. First on the agenda, Chad and Ria kick off their riding season in style as I hit the water, where trail access and quality fishing are a stone's throw from each other. Finally, Don Dunwell hits one event where it's always ladies' night. Own the outdoors now with AYL.
Wow, Chad, first bike ride of the season, and we couldn't have spent it in a more beautiful place.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Hello, everybody. Welcome to At Your Leisure today. I'm Chad Booth, and we are out for our first bike ride of the season. As Ria said, we are in the town of Panguitch in beautiful Garfield County. Now, this is a place a lot of people just kind of like go through, right?
Right, to get to Bryce.
Right, and occasionally you'll stay overnight, but you're always on your way to somewhere else. This is the place you should park. Park yourself in Panguitch, because think about it. You can do beautiful Highway 12. There's a loop there that can take you a whole day. You can do antimony. You go up north out of here over to Highway 62, and then up from Bryce through the Antimony Narrows and come back on Highway 62. That's a beautiful ride. You can do the loop up past Panguitch Lake, onto Cedar Mountain and down Highway 14. That's a beautiful loop. You can do the Zion's Canyon loop as part of your trip and make an entire route. And you always end up right back here in Panguitch, where there's a lot of fun stuff to do.
Yeah, it is. It's so cool. It's like a big wagon wheel, you know? You got the state parks, the national parks, those beautiful scenic loops right around in here. And Panguitch is basically the hub.
There we go.
Let's take a look at that hub right now.
You know, all my life I've had I call it a near mystical attachment to this town. It was first settled in 1864. They first called the place Fairview. Then they found out there was already a Fairview up in Sanpete County, so they had changed the name. So they took the name of the natural lake up here, which the Paiutes had named Panguitch, meaning big fish.
As far as the terrain, the beauty, you've got Red Canyon, which is nothing but red rocks, and then you can go up to Panguitch Lake where you're in the Ponderosa Pines.
Butch Cassidy came with his mother. They lived in Circleville, working for some rancher on the far north end of the Panguitch Valley.
I love the Old West feel, the welcoming of the people. From an outsider moving into this community, I have never felt more welcomed, more loved. I just feel blessed to call it home. It is just wonderful.
This was so good, but I'm almost done with it and I haven't paid for it yet.
Walls are all original. It's from 1909. It's on the historical register, so it's been rebuilt so that it would maintain that historical register status.
So the steam would actually come out the top?
Yeah, well, and the fumes from the welding rods.
You can't just go anywhere and buy
many?
belts like this.
Okay.
There you go.
Beautiful
Yeah.
belt.
Well, Cowboy Collectibles has been in business for 14 years now. We have merchandise here that's authentic.
You have a brand new white Stetson straw hat at home, and it fits you perfectly.
I can wear both of them. There's a great story about how the town was starving, and there are 7 men from Panguitch that needed to go over to Parowan and save the city. They knelt on quilts to pray to find out what to do, and they noticed that the quilts held their weight. So they actually used the quilts to walk over the mountains of Parowan to save Panguitch. So we have a festival the second week in June that tells about that story.
We settled finally on a monument that had one man that would represent all 7 men. And then we have benches within the park with each one of the men's names on and a little bit about their history to honor those men who walked the quilt walk. Alexander Matheson in his journal said that a trip over was hard, but the trip back was harder with the weight of the flour on their back.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
My, of course.
There you
Wow,
go.
it's a beautiful story.
Well, we've got a lot of history in this area. There's even more of it straight ahead on our travel adventure. We're going to head out to the lake. Stephen's up there exploring Panguitch Lake.
Well, thanks, Chad. Now, you guys are focusing on the history of Panguitch, and I decided to focus a little bit more on the adventure. But I couldn't get very far from the history either. I'm here overlooking Panguitch Lake, and when I discovered the rich history of this area, I was shocked, and I want to share it with you today. Just south of Panguitch on Highway 143, a natural body of blue ripples in the morning sun. This is Panguitch Lake, a recreation starting point that offers quiet days on the water or rugged trips on the trail, all the while holding secret a history that makes it stand out among western hotspots.
It's about a half a mile to 3/4 of a mile wide and about maybe one, depending on the year because the water goes down, but 1.5 to 2 miles sometimes, and it's beautiful.
That beauty is evident today as fishermen flock to the shores and set out on the water in search of rainbow and tiger trout. ATV trails lead into the forest almost directly from the water, taking riders on old historic routes and pioneer trails that lead into the mountains and in some cases almost all the way back to Panguitch. Many of the routes are barely 50 inches and take riders back in time to areas few people have ever visited even today. I think it's that trip back in time that I was so surprised by this morning. Panguitch Lake actually has some surprising history, and I met the right people to share it with me since they lived it.
My grandfather purchased the property on the south side of the lake in 1912.
My father bought the ranch on the west side of Panguitch Lake. When I was young, it meant quite a lot of work for me up there, but I really enjoyed it.
Shirley and Grant shared many stories with me that have been all but lost to time. The lake was originally fished by the Paiute tribe, and as Western settlers came in, a unique culture began to flourish. The old resort was built, and people from all walks of life started flocking to Panguitch in the late 1800s. At one point, there was even a floating dance hall out on the water, though as you might imagine, that didn't end well.
Materials got waterlogged. They got too many people on it to sing.
They used to have great big 24th of July celebrations up there, and people would come and camp in trailers and in their wagons, and they had horse races.
Of course, there were betting booths at that time, which they finally closed down, I guess.
They had a straight track up there, and then they later built a circular track, which was about 1/2 mile long, and that's still visible.
And this is actually the remnants of that racetrack. You can see the curve here. Imagine it. You'd have grandstands right here with a couple thousand people watching the horse races as they come by. And then right here in the middle, you would have the betting booths where you could drop your money off and bet on your horse, right here on Panguitch Lake. Today, the resort offers all the modern conveniences you could want, with cabins and full RV hookups. But they still hold on to some of that old world charm, taking advantage of their history and the beauty of the area. Between some of the modern cabins, you can still find the originals that stood before the turn of the 20th century, when rebels and Indians bet on horses and pulled trout from the cold blue water. We often don't stop to learn about the history of some of the areas we recreate in. But when we do, we gain a much greater appreciation for those lands. And that's what my experience has been today with Panguitch Lake. Learning about some of the fun things that have happened here over the last 100 years has given me a much greater love and appreciation for this area. Now remember, the lake is cold year-round. It's not really a swimming lake, but that's what makes the fishing so excellent. Come out here, enjoy the beauty, enjoy the fishing. You'll have a wonderful weekend or even a week to explore this area by ATV and on the water. Well, I'm Stephen Human for At Your Leisure. We need to take a commercial break, but when we come back, Darren Kinder is going to have this week's product review.
There are certain types of people out there who put everything to the test. For them, we built the Can-Am Maverick XDS with the first factory-installed turbo. It delivers 121 horsepower, impressive suspension travel, and exclusive Fox shocks. It's engineered to ace any test, including yours. Can-Am, the ride says it all.
In 1946, Ray City started a business built on exploration and family. He made his customers a promise that they would always find a friend when they walked into a dealership with the name Ray City. Now, 70 years later, that promise is fulfilled every day. We're still all about exploration and family. 70 years is a long time, but we are just getting started. Come in and celebrate our huge anniversary sale. Ray City RV off Riverdale Road in Roy, serving your family since 1946.
Let's be honest, you don't know much about Beaver County. Well, let me tell you about it. It's the birthplace of outlaw Butch Cassidy and inventor Philo T. Farnsworth. Some of the best skiing in Utah is at Eagle Point. You've got camping, Canyon Breeze Golf Course, Crusher and the Tushers, Beaver Territorial Courthouse, snowmobiling, Renewable Energy, Pioneer Car Show, Squeaky Cheese, Ghost Towns to explore, best water in the country, Paiute ATV trails, Old Frisco Kilns, horse races, hunting, fishing, and it's a good place to live. Beaver County, mountains of fun. I could tell you more, but why don't you come and see it for yourself?
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Darren Kinder, and our product review today is the Can-Am 650 Max XT. And that's a mouthful because there are so many cool features on this bike, you gotta come take a look. Well, our product review today is the new Can-Am 650 Max XT. Now what the Max means is that it has room for two people to sit on it very comfortably. Plus you got nice big handles back here for your passenger to hang on and a full backrest. Now the XT portion of the machine means is that it comes with a lot of extra features. You have the hand guard, you have front and rear bumpers, you have a winch standard on it, and you also have these oversized, really heavy-duty storage racks front and rear. And it also comes with a small storage box which you can upgrade to a great big one if you'd like. Now up here in the front, you can see you have this nice big push bar on it and the winch on the XT models, but they all come with a double A-arm front suspension on them with 9 inches of travel up here in the front and a full 11 inches of ground clearance. Now the XT does come with really nice aluminum wheels on it. You know, you can see the rear bumper, the storage box, but what really makes the Can-Am a little bit different is their rear trailing arm. And it's a lot more like the high-end Maverick suspension on it, where they've moved the center up towards the front and it allows the wheel to travel more in a straight up and down pattern as it goes through its travel, instead of being on an arc. So that keeps the tire much more engaged with the dirt. And look at this cool little compartment that we found. This is absolutely huge. You can put a lot of stuff in here and also includes a toolkit. Now one of the things that really impressed me about the machine was the dynamic power steering. Because at slow speeds it gives you a lot of power steering and at high speeds it hardly gives you any, which is perfect. That way you don't overcorrect at high speeds, but when you're kind of going around a parking lot, it's really easy to drive. Well, if you'd like to check one of these out, get up to Weller's Superstore in Camas, and they have these and a whole bunch of other products that you can take a look at. Well, I'm Darren Kinder. We'll see you next time.
In a place that is beyond words, there is nothing to be said, except take your time in Bryce Canyon country.
Don't let your next family outing end in tragedy. Don't drink and ride. Driving an OHV under the influence of alcohol is no different than driving your car under the influence of alcohol. Law enforcement officers will be out checking riders and operators of OHVs. You could end up seeing jail time, loss of driver's license, the same stiff penalties that apply to operating a car. This message is from the Utah Division of Parks and Recreation. ride responsibly.
Fly higher. Go further. Do more. Take it to the next level with Polaris. Whether you're chasing unforgettable memories, manhandling a mountain of work, or pushing the limits of work and play, we've got the perfect machine built just for you. Now's the time to get rebates up to $2,000 during the Polaris Spring Sales Event.
Okay, Ria, you wanted a summer cabin.
Yeah.
Now you've got one. There it is. Whole thing right there.
So I can stick my little pea shooter out and like pew, pew, pew.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are continuing to explore the area around Panguitch. Now, we've already talked about the fact that you can take off in 100 different directions in a road bike, and you can spend time in all of the parks and everything, but there are other things to see here as well.
This is so cool. We're just right at the mouth here of Casto Canyon, and we're maybe 200 yards from the trailhead. And then you come across this really cool little hideout, which I think it could have been Butch Cassidy's hideout. People say it could have been.
Looks like it's put together for protection more than for living comfort. So
yeah.
It probably didn't qualify as your home, summer home.
No.
But there are a lot of other things to do, though. This place is packed with activities, not just on road, but off. Let's check them out.
Panguitch is a really great, fun place to live. There are so many fun things that go on in the summertime. We have an ATV rally in August that the numbers just keep doubling every year. This Casto Canyon is pretty much our signature ride. It's the most popular ride, the one everybody wants to go on. Really great, fun country to be in, lots of history. We have a lot of people come and ride bicycles. We have mountain biking, the same trails pretty much as the ATV. We have the Quilt Walk, which is the second weekend in June, kind of a tribute to how Panguitch was settled. Then comes the Balloon Festival. If you've ever been to a hot air balloon festival, you need to come to Panguitch. You can go just about any direction. In fact, on the panguitch.com website, we have a lot of day trips that take you all over the county, but always bring you back to Panguitch. Once you stop and you discover all of our hidden secrets, you'll find out what a great place it is to be and to stay. There's so many events, there's so many fun things to do when you're done with your hiking or your ATV riding, all kinds of activities to do.
So have we convinced you that you should spend more than just one day in Panguitch, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Because there's so much to do.
Oh my gosh, everything, anything you can think of under the sun, because we're under it right now. Everywhere around here is beautiful.
Exactly. Well, right now it's time for us to go to our Trailhead Adventure, brought to you each week by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. And I think we should go jeeping today.
I'm sorry, no boys allowed. This is girls only.
The 4x4 drops a gear and moves slowly down a precipice of stone, articulating over rocks with the grace that comes only from years of practice on rugged western trails. You think you know what the driver looks like, but you'd be surprised. Most of the time when we imagine scenes like this, we picture a man driving his rig over boulders and into precarious positions. More and more, that paradigm has shifted, and the so-called fairer sex has climbed out of the passenger seat and behind the wheel.
I think there used to be a misperception that this was only a guy's sport, but I think that has definitely changed over the years. We've been super lucky as ladies. I've been working in the off-road industry for 22 years, and there's ladies here and they're making awesome moves.
A large group of those ladies have come together today in Moab, Utah to celebrate that fact and invite more women to test their skill off-road. Industry professional Charlene Bowers and off-road royalty Jesse Combs decided that the best way to get more women into the sport was to put on events specifically for them. It's an opportunity to meet other drivers and hit the trail, all with no expectations beyond enjoying the outdoors.
Charlene and I got together because we've been wanting to do this forever. Both of us stand tall for women in every sort of motorsport and anything that's awesome, like really getting your hands dirty, going out there, doing it, getting after it. So we've been talking about this for years, and finally we're like, literally last week, we're like, should we do it? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's totally do it.
We wanted ladies to get together to say, hey, you know what, we can be in the driver's seat. There's a lot of ladies that are doing it now. We see them out on the trails, but there's also a lot of younger girls, right? They're in the passenger seat, they're in the back seat, and we want to show them that you can get up into that driver's seat, which I think they're already bound and determined to do already, but at least this kind of gives us a networking piece for each other to meet each other.
The event starts with a meet and greet downtown where Jessie inspires young girls with her championship racing stories, but quickly moves to the trail where the real education begins. It's a baptism by fire, but a safe one, where spotters make sure each lady driver is comfortable moving forward. While the main goal of today's event is to invite more women to get out and feel comfortable on difficult trails, there's also a broader idea at work, one that reaches far beyond just a day of off-road thrills.
To be able to walk through life knowing that you can trust yourself and you can believe in yourself is by far the best thing that any girl can ever have. And I think these days we have kind of a lack of that growing. You know, technology is kind of taking over and they're doing this and they're not getting out and they're not using their hands. So that's what I do, is I try to put tools in their hands. I try to give them the opportunities to let them know how awesome something like this really is, whether it's off-roading or drag racing or land speed racing or snowboarding or whatever it is. Like, get out, do it and try it. Don't be intimidated by it because we can do it just as good as the boys.
More female-focused events are planned in the future. There is a hope that other 4x4 and off-road enthusiasts will take up the cause and invite more women to try what have traditionally been male-dominated sports. An entire generation of girls could one day look back to events like this as their introduction to an entirely new world.
They can get in the Jeep and they can drive if they want, and they can do it just as good as the boys can. And I'd like to say that I'm living proof of that because I'm winning all over the places.
I think that in some ways there's always a guy behind the wheel, right? But right behind them, there's a lady that either wants to do it or that is doing it. And today was an epic example out of Area BFE. I saw so many guys get out and let their wives drive for a little bit, and I'm like, right on, you know? Because they want to and the guys want them to too, which is so cool to me.
From the female-led trailhead, I'm Don Dunta.
Rediscover your sense of adventure. Welcome to San Juan County. Discover the past. A change of place. Utah's San Juan County, where life is elevated.
Family time, friend time, your time. You've been thinking about getting a machine, but which one is right for you? An ATV, side-by-side, or dirt bike? Stedman's Recreation has Utah's largest selection of Honda, Polaris, Yamaha, and Beta machines. See them all at Stedman's Recreation in Tooele. Need a tune-up, new tires, or want a winch? Stedman's Service Department can help.
Stedman's Recreation in Tooele. You may think it's 300 miles out here, but remember, it's only 30 miles back.
Have you ever wanted to go on a vacation to Mars? What about a visit to the Old West? Impossible, right? Well, forget what you think is real. In southern Utah's Kane County, other worlds are just an ATV ride away. The Old West lives on in every sunset. From the downtown streets of Little Hollywood to the vistas that have inspired the world. Never find yourself closer to home and yet farther than you've ever been. Southern Utah's Kane County, where anywhere is possible.
Carbon County is typically known for its industry and coal production. But did you know Utah's Castle Country has something for everyone? The motocross track has been acclaimed as the most popular in Utah with a variety of technical and natural terrain, and it even includes a pee-wee track. Visit castlecountry.com for more information.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure, everybody. Well, we're just wrapping our day up here in Panguitch, Utah, and we've had so much fun and lots of surprises.
We have, and of course, we're choosing to wrap up our trip at a place we stay a lot, the Purple Sage, right here on Main Street, with their marquee motel light. It's a historical landmark.
It is, and the rooms are so adorable. And we've had a lot of surprises today.
We did. One of them, of course, was our sticker winner. We want you to meet George. He's a real straight shooter. Well, just watch.
All right, everybody, we found our sticker wiener. We found our sticker wiener. No pun intended, George. I haven't been drinking. No, really, we do have a sticker winner. And here's our wonderful sticker. This is George's car, this great-looking Chevy, is this Suburban?
Tahoe.
Tahoe. Now, what's very unique about this car? George, show us what's so unique about your car.
I decorated it.
Just a minute on that, baby.
That is a bullet hole.
I'm sorry, I just got here, but I obviously missed something really significant.
Yes, you did.
That is a rather large caliber bullet hole coming out of this
no,
guy's
it's only
car.
a 6mm.
That's our winner, and he is a winner because he's still alive.
Congratulations, George. You're the winner of a Camp Chef stove. Okay, right now we want to go to a calendar of events. First off, Old School Rock Crawl coming up on Memorial Day weekend out in Delta, Utah. You don't want to miss it. It's a lot of gnarly climbing. The best of rock crawling all in one location.
And there's also a really exciting thing coming up the second week in June, which is here in Panguitch, which is the Quilt Walk event, which we talked about earlier in the show. And you really want to get your families out here for that. What a great walk through history.
Play, dinner, you can learn how to make quilts, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
End of the month, same place, Panguitch, Utah, the big balloon festival. And you better get your rooms right now,
Yeah.
because that's a big event.
Right. I mean, hopefully we'll get a room.
Yes.
We better make our reservations right now.
And you'll want to take a look at this big event next week's show.
How is One Utah State Park changing the way you catch fish? Well, next week, Reese Stein follows Rangers as they look to make One Wasatch Front Reservoir an even more impressive spot to cast a line and reel in the big one. From there, Darren and Jill Kinder help clean up the desert and show why conservation can go a long way toward keeping trails open. See you here in 1 week.
Well, looks like it's going to be a great show next week. Great breakfast this morning to wrap up our trip.
Yes, we're at the Cowboy Smokehouse here in Panguitch, and oh, yummy, yummy breakfast. Did you know this place used to be a jail?
Yes, that's right. I believe Butch Cassidy spent some time here.
He did.
He lived everywhere in town here at some point or another.
Right.
Now, there are a lot of dining opportunities, and if you frequent Panguitch, you want to pay attention to another place. Last night, we had dinner at the Big Fish down at the old, it's where the old bar used to be at the end of town. Best wings I've ever had, and I've been to Buffalo, New York, to the original restaurant where they all started. These guys have got it dialed in. So check it out when you come down to Panguitch, and remember, there's adventure around every bend.
All you gotta do is get out there and create your own adventure.
That's true. See you next time. Come on in.
I think I'm gonna have to back in because I'm afraid I'm gonna get stuck if I go in front head first.
We don't often take a look at the history baton. I'm always better at my second one anyway.
Hi, I'm Chad Booth from At Your Leisure. I hope you just enjoyed the YouTube video that you just watched. Now, remember, we come up with new videos like this every single week, so you might want to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a single story that we have out. Now, you can also share us with all of your friends on social media. Here's how to do it right here. And that way, they can have fun too. If you want detailed information, we of course have our website, AYLTV.com, and from there you can find out which television stations we broadcast on, so you never have to spend a day without your fix of family-oriented outdoor recreation adventure. Plus, don't forget we have really cool contests.